Now, the death toll from the coronavirus infection in China has risen to 81, with authorities trying to contain as many as 3,000 cases. Experts say many more people are infected, but actual figures are hard to ascertain due to a number of factors, like some people being asymptomatic. Here's Juliana Layenka with more international stories in Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom in London. Leaders from across the world have paid tribute to more than 1 million Jews who were killed in Nazi death camps during World War II, marking 75 years since the liberation of Auschwitz. The presidents of Israel and Poland were joined by survivors and family members of victims during a wreath-laying ceremony at the monument of Witold Pilecki. During a news briefing, both presidents called for greater global efforts to combat anti-Semitism amid concerns over a resurgence of anti-Jewish prejudice.
אין תחליף ליום הזיכרון הבינלאומי הזה על אדמת אושוויץ, אתר הזיכרון. אין תחליף למעמד הזה שמגלם את ההבטחה לא נשכח. לטוב ולרע, העם היהודי הוא עם זוכר.
The US military has joined an investigation into a plane that crashed in eastern Afghanistan. Local officials initially said the aircraft belonged to state-owned airline Ariana, but the airline denied this, prompting questions about the origin of the aircraft and the cause of the crash. Taliban social media accounts posted footage of what it said was the plane with US Air Force markings. Video and images posted online appeared to show a US Air Force plane. Universities, schools and colleges across China will remain closed until further notice as authorities continue their attempts to block the spread of the deadly coronavirus. The Lunar New Year holiday has also been extended to Sunday to reduce mass gatherings. The news comes as Australia confirmed its 5th case involving a 21-year-old woman who was on the last flight out of the Chinese city of Wuhan to Sydney before China imposed a travel ban.
I can now confirm that the 21-year-old young woman has confirmed positive for coronavirus. She is accordingly being cared for in the appropriate medical environment at Westmead Hospital. Can I say she came in to New South Wales on flight MU749 on the 23rd of January. That particular flight was actually met by health officials, and at that time she presented with no symptoms. It was in the consequent days after that, shortly after that, that she started to feel unwell.
From Australia's perspective, we are looking very closely at what is possible, including consular assistance for people who are in those areas and what options there are for helping them with transport out of Wuhan and Hubei province. We're exploring all opportunities to ensure that when it is possible, we can assist their departure.
In nearby India, a 6th suspected case has also emerged. Thousands of miles away in Europe, German authorities have said they are considering evacuating German citizens from the Chinese region affected by coronavirus. Preventing a global pandemic is the main concern for public health officials. Tributes have been pouring in from across the world following the death of retired NBA sports star Kobe Bryant, who was killed in a helicopter crash near Los Angeles, along with his 13-year-old daughter and 7 others on board.
He meant everything, especially like in the sports in general. Like as an athlete, like Kobe is a name that everyone heard of. He was really good at what he did. He was a very good person in general. He did a lot of charity, so it's a very big loss in general.
How are you feeling?
It's very sad, especially because his daughter was with him. And, she was young as well.
US Republican Senator Mitt Romney has said that it was increasingly likely that at least 4 Republican senators would join Democrats in calling for John Bolton, the former White House National Security Advisor, to testify in the Senate impeachment trial of US President Donald Trump.
I think it's increasingly likely that other Republicans will join those of us who think we should hear from John Bolton. And whether there are other witnesses and documents, well, that's another matter. But I think John Bolton's relevance elements to our decision has become increasingly clear.
And finally, if you're a coffee lover, this new unique ingredient may tickle your taste buds. Believe it or not, Bat Spit coffee has become a huge hit with Madagascar consumers, and the premium rare bean is the brainchild of father and agricultural entrepreneur Jacques Ramala. It is also the first time that such a coffee is being produced in Africa. Wild bats chewing on ripe coffee berries results in a reaction between their digestive fluids and outside air that gives a unique, smooth flavour, according to those who can't get enough of it. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Start off with some football news on the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, the Edo State capital, could be the next home ground for the senior national team, the Super Eagles, when they play their next home match at the 2021 African Nations Cup qualifying series. An executive member of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Guzo, who inspected facilities at the stadium earlier today, is excited with the level of work done so far. World number one Rafa Nadal, for the first time at this year's Australian Open, lost his first set but rode out a spirited challenge from Nick Kyrgios to move into the quarterfinals for the 12th time with a 6-3, 3-6, 7-6, 7-6 victory earlier today. Australian Kyrgios was a match for the 19-time Grand Slam champion in the second and foremost of his third set, but the muscle-bound Spaniard always looked like the most likely winner once he got his game back in front. Now, the game lasted 3 hours and 38 minutes. He will face Australian 5th seed Dominic Thiem in the last 8. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. That's a wrap in sports news. Millicent, it's back to you.
Thank you, Ayotunde. And the main news again. An Abuja High Court today sentenced Miriam Sanda to death by hanging after finding her guilty of killing her husband, Biliaminu Bello, in November 2017. Also today, the President of Senate, Ahmed Lawan, called for the overhaul of the nation's security architecture with the promise that the issue will top the agenda when the National Assembly resumes on January the 28th. That's news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Morgan. Have a good night.